Whoa, whoa, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Whoa, whoa, will Cody Rhodes finish his story or will they stretch it out? Whoa, whoa. WrestleMania 40 is almost here. Let's talk about what could possibly happen on the card. I'm John Ritlam with my WWE WrestleMania 40 predictions. Let me know your predictions in the comments, please. I'm recording these a bit early on Tuesday because I have a lot of shit I gotta do this week. Work, and also, well, got a lot of reviews to do and some movies to review and a lot of shit to do. And also I really just want to talk about this stuff because, honest to God, I think some of this card actually could end up being pretty good overall, but I think there's some filler, and I still barely know her. So yeah, let's get into it. But I really do want to know what you guys think will be, some prizes. Who do you think's going to show up out of nowhere? Cinderella story. And what's the worst match you think will be on the card? What do you think will be the sleeper hit? And do you think that Cody will be able to finish his story? I'm going to say right now before I dive into the rest of it, if Cody does not win the title here, if he doesn't, I don't see how they get it back. I really, really don't see how they get it back. Even if they do a big old schmoz and get all into this stuff and boom, 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 and it's just such a riotous, crazy moment, I don't know what they do. You could argue they could have gone to Madison Square Garden for a TV taping or a pay-per-view later and had Roman continue his reign, but yeah, at this point, regardless of how I personally feel about Cody's character, and I personally, am kind of about it, yeah, for the masses, he probably needs to win. Otherwise, whoo-hoo! Anyway, I'm going to absolutely lose it if he doesn't win. I'm going to probably pass out from laughter. So, yeah, WrestleMania, Night 1 and Night 2. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother saying Night 1, Night 2, because I think it's going to be a standard going forward. There's going to be 2 nights of WrestleMania. This would be 4 nights. Not Fortnite, thankfully. That's shit game. So, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against Santos and Dominic Mysterio. I think Santos and Dominic are going to win, because I think we're going to get everybody from LWO Wolfpack and Hollywood, including Zelina and Elektra Lopez on a WrestleMania stage. Oh, thank God they're having that match on SmackDown, that much I'll say. And yeah, we're going to get a big old schmoz. I don't know why they just didn't do a 10-person tag. It would have made more sense. Because I think Carlito's turning. Because Carlito's not going to like the fact that Ray chose Dragon Lee, and I think that's what we're going to get. Now, we could get the turn on SmackDown. We could get this happy-go-lucky thing, but I hate to say it, I think Santos and Dominic winning might be the better choice because Ray beat Dominic last year. And Dragon Lee, I'm sorry, feels like a fucking afterthought. He just does. But yeah, Carlito's going to turn. That's what I think. So we got the heels winning here. Gunther and Sami Zayn. Intercontinental Championship match. Gable's either going to turn. I got a lot of turns happening on this. Or Gunther is going to... I think Gunther's going to retain. Now, Sami could win. It would be cool. It would end Gunther's reign at 666 days. No, really, think about it. They announced it on Raw as 661 days. Do the math, as Atari said about the Jaguar. Probably a bad reference. Does anybody remember the fucking Jaguar and that bullshit controller? Gunther retaining would actually be pretty cool because you could just continue his reign. But if it's going to end on 666 days... that'd be kind of cool. But is anybody really interested in Sami versus Gable as a feud? No. I mean, or if you are, it's fine. I mean, I'm not personally interested. I'd like to see Gunther continue his reign. Because what else are you going to do? He can't... I don't think he can travel outside the U.S. yet, so he can't be the world champion. I think it has something to do with his work visa or trying to become an American citizen, something like that. That's why he couldn't be at Elimination Chamber. But in all honesty, Gunther retaining and maybe going to a 2-year run might not be the worst thing in the world. Sami winning, fine. But I don't think Sami is Intercontinental Champion at this day and age. Nothing against him, is where they need to go. Now Sami could win and be whatever, it is what it is. But I think Gunther retaining and holding it till he breaks the 2-year mark, which would be sometime, I believe, June 10th, 2022 is when he won it. So... you'd have him lose it sometime after that. Have him lose it at SummerSlam. So anyway, we get to the 6-pack tag title ladder match with both tag team championships hanging above the ring. Now it's a 6-pack, challenge and everything with 12 people, 6 teams. I'm sorry, I know that this is going to surprise people, but I think that's too cluttered and too bullshit. Also, there are rumors and innuendo or innuendo that Waller and Theory might not be part of it, that they might try to find a way to put Pretty Deadly in it. I guess, I don't know why Pretty Deadly didn't qualify, but there are rumors, since the Motor City Machine Guns, Shelley and Saban, are free agents. They could probably head to AEW. In fact, I think they probably will. But imagine if they're in the match. Imagine if it becomes a 7-way. And they just add them, all of the Hardys, being added to the ladder match at WrestleMania 33 to a huge pop. I don't know how... I think enough people would react to that. I mean, at this stage of their lives and careers, if they wanted to show up in WWE, it'd be pretty cool. But then they'd have to win one of the tag titles. And if we're separating the tag titles, if both sets of tag titles are hanging up there, you could have the Motor City Machine Guns be part of it. Otherwise, if they have Pretty Deadly involved, and Pretty Deadly won one of the sets of tag titles, I will refuse to watch anything involving them because I hate them. I can't stand them one bit. I don't want them injured. I just don't want them on my television. Awesome Truth has to win one of the sets of tag titles. You have to go with that story. However anybody feels about it, makes the most sense. DIY, I guess, could win one of those, because I don't think Judgment Day is walking out with any gold. Well, maybe. But they don't need to hold the tag titles anymore. Now they could win one, they could have one of the other sets, and fine, it is what it is. Separate the tag titles, and they can mean fuck all the shit. If Motor City Machine Guns do debut, if they'll win one of the sets of tag titles. Awesome Truth is walking out at least with one set, though. So I have Awesome Truth winning, at least one set, Raw set, probably. And who knows, maybe they'll add more teams. Maybe they'll just add a bunch of teams. They'll just make it like a Battle Royal ladder match. This is going to be a clusterfuck, and I do not really look forward to seeing the potential, set of injuries that could happen in a match that probably won't stick out by the end of the week. So we have Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill in WWE after making her debut at the Rumble to a big pop. It's them versus Damage Control, Dakota, Asuka, and Kairi. Obviously, Bianca, Naomi, and Jade are winning. They have to. They can pin Dakota. They can pin Kairi. It's not for the tag titles. I was surprised they didn't go with Jade versus Nia. I hate to say it, but I think that might have made more sense. I'm surprised they didn't have Liv versus Nia. Continuing that story. But maybe they didn't want to clutter up the show too much. I think you could have done 8 matches each night, considering that you're doing 2 nights. But yeah, Bianca, Jade, and Naomi obviously are going to win. And Kairi's probably going to take the pin. Jade will probably try to break the internet again. How she folded Kairi up and did the pose that she did. And I'm not going to try to recreate it because I am not in shape at all like she is. Yeah, that was something that certainly sent people into a tizzy. You heathens, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, that's it. That's really all that I have to say right there about that 6-woman tag. It'll be full of big reactions. I think Jade will be given just enough to do to show that she's coming along. I'm still not as sold on Jade as a wrestler as some people, but I admit she has put in the work and was not given as much to do in AEW to grow. Yeah, she got the undefeated streak. Did it end up meaning anything? No, not really. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Mommy versus the Man. Women's world title. I think Rhea's winning. Because I think Liv beating Rhea actually would probably be the better story. Now, Becky winning would be very cool. I'm not going to complain. Rhea would have a Randy Savage, title reign where it would be just about, I think it would be 371 days or close to it. 371, 372, which is what Randy had for his first ever WWE Championship run. But I think Rhea winning would just be better. Does Becky need it? Will Becky be any more over if she wins the title? No. And she could continue feuding. They could have, I mean, she can't really feud with Nia, but you could have her and Liv feud. You could have Liv end up being Becky to culminate and complete her story, because everybody's got to finish the story. Liv is probably going to end up being the one to beat Rhea, which I'd be for. Now, if Becky wins, cool. Okay, Liv can beat Becky. But they're going to put some stumbling blocks there for Liv, because I think that's where we're ultimately going to have, the build. And granted, they could stretch that out to SummerSlam. A lot of stuff being stretched out to SummerSlam. But Rhea, I'm going to go with Rhea retaining. Not with a ton of confidence, but I think it's going to be it could end up being the show-stealing match. Rock and Roman, tweet, Rock and Roman, tweet against Cody and Seth. It's bloodline rules if Rock and Roman win. Straight up fight if Cody and Seth win. There's going to be a lot of interference, a lot of stuff. I think Drew's going to end up distracting Seth, and I think Seth is going to end up taking the fall here. Or Cody will just get beaten down so goddamn much that he'll take the pin. And I say that because the bloodline stuff and the bloodline rules and everybody getting to interfere is going to tie into my predictions for night 2. That's what I got happening. Now we're going to night 2, which will not take very long. The Pride, Lashley, and the Profits against the Final Testament. Cross and AOP. I assume B-Fab and Scarlett will get in a skirmish. Paul Ellering will just be thinking, the fuck? Used to manage the Road Warriors. The fuck am I doing here? Oh, I'm getting paid. And I like Paul Ellering, don't get me wrong. It's apparently a Philadelphia street fight, or at least the rumors. Now, even if it's just a straight-up match, I have the Pride winning. But this, I do not care about this match. Nothing against Montez, nothing against Angelo, nothing against Lashley. I think that they're a good trio. I think they could be utilized better, featured, cemented better as a dominant force. The stuff with Cross does nothing for me. The stuff with AOP does nothing for me. Scarlett, quite frankly, is good for staying there and looking good, and that's it. The Pride will win. I don't think anybody will care. They'll battle around the ring with a bunch of weapons and won't mean anything. LA, night against AJ Styles. It is basically after Styles had gotten pissed at LA Knight, flown halfway across the world, stopped him from winning the Elimination Chamber, and LA Knight went to AJ's house in a really stupid fucking segment. I think LA Knight's going to win. Feels like LA Knight's kind of cooled off, which is what I feared, but, I felt it was lightning in the bottle. AJ could lose here, and it's not going to affect him. He's away from the OC, which is a group that doesn't need to exist. Gallows and Anderson are two guys that have gotten paid to do absolutely nothing. Nothing of importance, at least. And Mia Yim feels totally lost. In fact, speaking of which, LA Knight's going to win. I got him winning. It is what it is. Why isn't there a Women's Battle Royal? They're having the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on SmackDown. Why not have a Women's Battle Royal here in the middle of the card? Because you could at least give some people something to do, some people that are meaningful. You could also have Maxine in there to see how much she botches. And you could have various... I know it sounds mean to say, because I don't think she's a terrible person, but I don't think she's cut out to do wrestling. I think they actually should have a Women's Battle Royal, because why not? They got enough women on the goddamn roster. Toss Nia out, then carry her into the goddamn river that's nearby in Philadelphia, assuming they have one. I don't know much about geography. Just leave her there. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Orton in a 3-way U.S. title match. Logan Paul involved in a 3-way. Shut up, Noah. So, Randy Orton, I think, will win the U.S. title. Why? Why not? Logan's held it since the Saudi Arabia show. He doesn't need to hold it any longer. Owens, if Owens wins it, fine. Because he's multi-time U.S. champion. I think Randy winning would be kind of cool because, he doesn't have a lot on his bump card, but he could hold it for a little bit. It could be like 2018? The 2018? When he held the U.S. title, because it was Rude who lost it to Orton. Orton lost it in, I believe, a 4-way where Jinder won. And why not give Randy a title? Because it's probably going to be the last championship he ends up having. Because I do not think that Orton has more than a year or two left. They're going to have to hide him in a bunch of multi-mans. So you might as well have him as U.S. champion for one final time. As long as the title's off of Logan Paul, because I just don't see the reason to have Logan continue to be U.S. champion. He's barely defended it. And titles don't mean much unless they're at least defended here and there. Seth Pheasant Rollins, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, I don't have all the energy for that. Against Drew McIntyre for the secondary World Heavyweight Championship. If Drew doesn't win, then I don't know what we're doing here. And if Priest doesn't cash in, I don't know what we're doing here. If Drew were to, now they could have Priest cash in during the match. It could be a three-way and Drew could pin Priest. That would be a failed cash in. And Seth would have a reason to be upset. But that's the thing. They need to stop with the Money in the Bank briefcase unless they have this idea to, actually have an end game, a good end game. Because I actually just had to remind myself that Priest is the Money in the Bank, holder. See, there's cashing in too soon. There's having somebody hold on to it for so goddamn long that you don't remember. Drew walking out as champion would be cool. He would get his moment. Because if Seth beats him, okay, then Priest has to cash in. You just nullified all the stuff you built with Drew. Seth doesn't need the victory. He doesn't need to hold the world title any longer. He's the only man that has held that, and we're coming up on close to a year, something like that. About 9.5 months, 10 months maybe, because I think he was crowned in June. Was it May or June? Drew has to win, but I fear they're going to have Priest cash in, and it's going to muddy the whole thing up. Io and Bayley are going to have their match for the WWE Women's Championship. I have Io winning because I think they're going to try to give Bayley a moment later. If Bayley wins, it'd be cool. I wouldn't complain. Bayley would get her moment on a big stage. A lot of big stage moments taking place. But Io's only held it since what? SummerSlam? I know I say only. And yes, you want to have the face triumph in the end. And they have beaten down Bayley a whole lot, but if Io won, would anybody really complain? Some might, and I love Bayley. I'll be happy if Bayley wins. I'd like to see Io get a big victory at WrestleMania, though. I just really would. Bayley has won at Mania. Granted, it was 7 years ago, and that was a muddy title reign. But I'd like to see Io win. But I won't complain if Bayley does. Roman versus Cody. Undisputed Universal Championship of this and every other unknown universe. Bloodline rules is what I'm going with. Because Solo, Jey Uso, Jim Uso, Alpha and Sika, the ghost of Yokozuna, the ghost of Umanga, I know it's Umaga, leave me alone, the Tongan Kid, Haku is going to come down, Tama Tonga is going to come down, everybody's going to come down, John Cena is going to come down, Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to come and run down. Everybody's going to run down. They're going to have... Brandy's probably going to interfere, which means I will automatically want Cody to lose because Brandy does not deserve to be in a wrestling ring in any capacity and never did. But that being said, we're just going to have everybody interfering, and eventually we're going to get Cody beating Roman. Because Roman is as big as he's going to be as far as having a run. As far as the number of days that he's been champion. Will Rock turn on Roman? Possibly. Will we get that turn on SmackDown? Probably. But I think that Cody is going to finally win the match, because if he doesn't, they ain't going to get this back. They barely got it back after Mania 39. They got to have it here. They got to do it here. I will absolutely lose it and laugh and just pass out from laughter if Cody doesn't win. So some people might actually be looking forward to that. But I will say this. If Cody wins, great, cool, okay. I'm probably not going to review as much Raw and SmackDown going forward anyway, because I have other things to do. And the weekly TV is kind of boring me. All that they built up. Cody getting beat down, strapped repeatedly by Dwayne's big, rock-hard, strapping Johnson. If you take a repeated strapping from a man who has the last name of Johnson, and you don't come back to win in the end, to top the strapping Johnson in the end, then I don't really know what you're going to end up doing. Cody's going to lose on night 1, and he's going to win on night 2. Now, from there, we'll see how the title reign goes. But if it doesn't happen here, it ain't going to happen with as much popularity as he has now. What do you think is going to happen, guys? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.